Conservationists in Zimbabwe have accused a dentist from Minnesota of being an alleged killer of Cecil or Cecil, one of Africa's most famous lions and the star attraction at the Hwange National Park. The Conservation Task Force said Walter Palmer thought he had to pay $50,000 for a chance to kill this lion on July 6th. On Tuesday, the dentist and married father of two became a target of a Facebook campaign calling for his head. Angry comments, threats. He actually has gone into hiding since then. And even Jimmy Kimmel got in on it. Here's him making fun of him on his show the other night.
It was a local fair. The big question is, why are you shooting a lion in the first place? I mean, I'm honestly curious to know why a human being would feel compelled to do that. How is that fun? Is it that difficult for you to get an erection that you need to kill things that are stronger than... If that's the case, they have a pill for that. It works great. Just stay home and swallow it, and you save yourself a lifetime of being the most hated man in America who never advertised Jell-O pudding on television. And by the way, I'm not...
Yeah. It's one of those things where I don't get it. I'm not a hunter. I'm fine with the people that hunt and then eat what they kill, because if you're going to hunt and eat what you kill and you're going to object to it, but you eat meat, then you're just a fucking hypocrite, and you're just doing factory farming is what you're supporting instead of going out and thinning the herd with Joe Rogan.
It's way worse.
That's, Gary, new podcast, Thinning the Herd with Joe Rogan. Me and Joe sit around talking about living off the fat of the land. I'm going to do 114 podcasts a week instead of 113.
But in this case...
I do not approve.
Nope.
On the other hand, I do understand the difference between human beings and animals, and I'm not going to take to Twitter and say, you are worse than Hitler, which a lot of people do. They go, this is the worst person that's ever born, blah, blah, blah. Look, it is much worse to have 9 children and not hang around and raise them than it is to shoot a lion with an arrow. It is much worse. Much worse. You have 9 kids and then you move to fucking Florida and then your kids run wild out here, cause crime. We pay for them. They get hooked on drugs. They get impregnated. They get incarcerated. You're a much worse human being. So let's judge that human being. And then when we're done judging all of them, we'll get around the guy with the crossbow. It's my take. I just put things into perspective. I don't like this guy. It's not my thing. I'm not into it. I've never done it. I don't get it. I do like the bow hunters better than I like the gun hunters, because at least I feel like those guys are out there trying to create some kind of footing, pardon the pun, with the thing that is going to eat them or could eat them. It's instead of I'm in a tree 500 meters away shooting it with my 30-06 and my, in my crosshairs kind of thing. But this notion where we completely lose all perspective, look, it's a pretty simple equation. This thing, which we disapprove of, which we don't like, which doesn't make us feel good, which is not going to make a very good children's book, this thing is not going to affect us at all. It's not going to affect them at all. There are a couple of people hanging around the wildlife preserve that probably liked Simba and are heartbroken. They'll get over that fairly quickly. This has happened before, will happen again. Let's keep things in perspective.
Well, can I give a couple extra facts just about this scenario? Okay. So first of all, lions are on the endangered species list. So it's in this case, it's obviously not he wasn't eating it and he wasn't trying to control population. Right. Also, they lured the lion at night onto private property with a dead animal carcass, put a spotlight on him, hit him with a bow, and then the lion ran off. It took them 40 hours to find the lion, who was obviously very hurt, and shot him.
All right, but I ate a cow yesterday.
No, I understand. I'm just giving a couple details.
I know,
it was
but
just
who
cowardly.
gives a shit?
It's very cowardly. Right. And also, this isn't... And I think, obviously, what's tapping into people's outrage is, this is this animal's home. You go in and fuck with it and lure it out and kill it like a puppy. Stupid.
Look, if the nation had some kind of economy, they wouldn't have to do this sort of weird tourism.
That's true.
Shoot our animals tourism.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know all the details, but this guy didn't go rogue. He had a guide, and the guide he pays the guide, and the guide points out shit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe they were only being held for a $1,000 bail, but they're in trouble too. People aren't happy with them either. And the dentist said, I don't know anything. I just showed up and I expected these guys to do this legally and whatever. But this guy, this dentist, has been on probation before for killing animals on the endangered species, so he doesn't give a shit.
He's a monster.
He just doesn't care.
He's bloodthirsty.
Yeah,
once you get a taste for blood,
I don't
and
really
you're totally right. It just sucks.
It sucks, but 7 kids got shot in Baltimore while we're talking about it, so
sucks
I don't give a shit about it.
Can we just hate everyone? I just hate everyone.
It doesn't matter. In the great whatever, it doesn't make a difference. So
it's piling on because it's easy, and it's so easy to...
But
his address was tweeted out today, I think.
No, it's easy. No, there's no politics attached to it. So
Uh-huh.
you can just pile on, feel like a hero, and then move on with your life.
But I was thinking about this a lot because I don't think that people are coming from this. Most people are coming from this of, oh, this is easy, this is low-hanging fruit, this makes me feel like a hero. I think people have a very special attachment to animals. And I think that and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm saying I think people...
It's slightly insane. But
I loved animals more than I love people
but
at this
I think
point.
that people...
Easily.
I think that people are
Easily.
coming from a pure place of outrage, whether they should be more outraged about something else or whatever.
Be outraged at home and shut your fucking face.
And they are.
That's what I'm saying.
They're outraged at home. They're on Twitter.
Well, why are you going on Twitter, though?
Yeah.
Like, why?
I did. A full disclosure, I tweeted about him.
Why?
I tweeted one sentence.
But who gives a
I just said
shit?
I would rather have cavities because he's a bad person.
You're not going to
He's a bad guy.
Bad guy.
There's a lot
Kids
of
are
bad
embarrassed,
guys.
I'm sure.
Oh,
the family's probably a mess.
Listen, he's not even close on my bad guy list because he pays taxes and he doesn't. Everyone laughs at paying taxes. What happens is we should stop for 10 minutes and see what happens. See how society works if people don't pay taxes.
I would love to stop paying taxes.
You know that he regrets it now. I mean, this has turned his life upside down.
Does he, though?
He closed his practice and he went into hiding. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he wishes he could take it back just for convenience.
I feel like we don't, we don't look as hard for the guy with the crossbow as we do with the guy minus the crossbow, though. Like, I don't feel like I need to find the guy with the crossbow because he's probably got a crossbow on him. And first guy in's probably going to get the crossbow.
He is, after all, the guy with the crossbow.
Yeah, I'd be more smoke him out than let's go get him.
Wait it out.
All I'm saying is, if the guy takes care of his family and the guy pays taxes, he's way down on my list of guys I need to do things with in our society.
Oh, wow.
So somebody brought basically the cast of The Lion King in stuffed animal form, and put it on his doorstep, his work doorstep, saying, "You are a coward and a killer." Both true, sort of a cowardly act. True. Whatever.
Now, would you like to spend any significant amount of time with that person?
The person who laid the stuff out.
I would much rather spend time with the dentist than the guy who brought the fucking Kimba, the white line stuffed animal, put it there. First off, this person's unemployable and probably morbidly obese.
At least the dentist has some great stories about tracking a lion for 40 hours.
And had stuffed animals to spare.
Yes, that's right.
Well.
And we could go out and trap bald eagles together. And he'd be like, "Oh, you never had California condor stew?
That's right.
It's awesome."
Yeah, here's a California condor omelet.
No, this guy's not a good guy because we disagree with him. But he's not ISIS, and he's not Al-Qaeda, and he's not even a deadbeat dad.
Apparently, Minneapolis-based dentists do well. He has just $55,000 extra to go hunt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, and that's not the first time, so...
All right. As long as he pays his
Just a
taxes,
bum
I don't
out.
give a shit.
All right. Well, Jen Welter has...
I hate the people that are insanely outraged by it more. I'm down with you disapproving. I'm down with that. But the insane outrage is what drives me
I've just
nuts.
always hated big game hunting, period. I grew up in Texas. My dad hunts. I get, you eat it. That was the only way I was ever okay with it. I don't get the rest.
I don't see the whole part where we make a huge distinction between a lion and a zebra, for instance. If this guy had shot a water buffalo, an elk, or a zebra, that's a big thing. So there's a sort of majestic whatever aspect to it, which to me, it's like if you're shooting an animal, you're shooting an animal, and if you're not eating it, you're not eating it. So that's just one of God's creatures that you killed for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't draw a massive distinction. I understand endangered and stuff like that, but I think we have a lot of stored outrage, and I think it gets channeled in many different directions. And to me, it's a weird thing because for the time being, most women, and it's more of a women thing. Guys are outraged too, but that's just because we're becoming women. 20 years ago, no one
What
gave a
does
shit.
that even mean?
Your dad doesn't give a shit about this stuff.
Do you have time to read a book?
No.
It's called In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks.
He doesn't. Your dad doesn't give a shit about this because he was in the Navy and because he's an oil guy and he understands life. But it's fine. But the guys are becoming chicks, and it's not the other way around. So what's happening is we're all outraged. We gave Bill Cosby a day and a half off to be outraged. Be outraged about Bill Cosby.
But this is I do agree with what you sort of said earlier. I think this is a safe, even ground for all. There's nothing to do with race. Right. There's nothing to do with politics. You don't have to sort of pick a side. It's like, oh, you killed a big, furry, beautiful animal.
Yes.
You're a jackass. And we all agree on that.
You don't have to be informed either. You don't have to be informed. It's just like, oh, the guy killed a lion.
Because when you start to disagree on some of these other topics that are going on in the country, then it becomes a much more serious issue.
I agree.
Different.
Jackass, and still better than any deadbeat dad out there. That's all I care
never
about.
understood the reason or the idea behind big game hunting and then taxidermy. Like, you could have left it alone and could have seen it move around and do animated things if you just didn't shoot it, as opposed to stuffing it and sticking it in the corner.
And have you ever been in a hole? It's creepy.
I don't get quilting.
Well, I don't either. I mean,
that's the thing. It's like life is filled with shit that I just fucking don't know, don't understand, and don't get.
I learned this the hard way because I didn't know this either. I went fishing and caught like one of those 7.5-foot bluefish. Mm-hmm. I didn't know at the time that most times they actually let the fish go, and then the taxidermist makes you the model. Oh. But I was with a creepy, creepy fisherman who I learned after the fact who killed the fish and apparently sold the meat when we got back to the dock. And then they still made me one of those big fake things and charge you a couple grand for it. So I was like, oh, we killed an animal. We didn't have to. And it's not even what they do a lot of times when they do the taxidermy part. So I was like, well, that's not a fun lesson that I learned today.
At least they sold the meat.
But
I didn't get any of the money either. I caught
who got
fish.
The money?
This creepy captain of the ship.
You're like a slave. You're like a plantation slave.
He's got a good racket going.
Just say ship's captain, because they're all creepy. Any vessel under 40 feet, they're always fucking weird dudes.
He was the smooth-talking captain of a small ship.
Yes. Anything under 39 feet, anything 40 feet and under, always a weird dude.
He was the silver-tongued captain of a small fishing vessel.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay. Well, it appears that prison seamstress Joyce Mitchell isn't so innocent after all. On Tuesday, she pleaded guilty to helping 2 inmates escape a prison in upstate New York. Perhaps even more shocking, the 51-year-old married woman admitted to investigators that she performed sex acts on one of the prisoners and sent X-rated selfies to the other. She was also aware of the pair's plot to kill her husband.
How did he get the X-rated selfie?
Oh, I'm sure she brought in her little contraband phone.
So why didn't she just stand there naked?
When I hear scent, I'm like, text it or
sometimes they got some burners in there.
Really?
Yeah. Now, this is the best part. In a statement, Mitchell said, quote, "I believe I helped inmate Richard Madden, inmate David Sweat escape because I was so caught up in the fantasy. I enjoyed the attention, the feeling both of them gave me, and thought of a different life." Well, she has a different life now.
What kind of a life were you thinking
this is the one she's in.
This is what happens when you don't have self-esteem.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't need to serve a second for me because she's already served her time in public opinion when everyone was like, oh, boy, what? Yuck. Yeah.
Why?
Why not just beat off in your bunk? I don't get it.
Why not just flog yourself?
Isn't there an asshole around for you to fill in a shower somewhere?
I know there is.
Come on.
Like, I know there is.
That's got to be the worst.
You can't fool me.
Like, the worst
that
thing
can't bring you
that you can ever suffer as a female is all of society just going, oh, yuck.
Why?
What?
But by the way, as much as we make fun, her husband is standing by her side.
Lyle just loves her to pieces.
I don't get
Lyle
it.
It's almost like I don't know if you're familiar with the movie or the musical Chicago, but
sure.
It's
oh yeah.
John C. Reilly.
Thank you. It's just thank you. I don't know.
I have no idea
her.
who's in that movie. I'm sorry.
By the way, that was quick on your part.
Familiar with.
Yeah.
Mr. Cellophane, Lyle Mitchell.
And she's a prison seamstress?
She's a seamstress. He also works in the prison.
What is a prison seamstress?
She may have designed the uniform she's wearing now.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, they might make stuff for companies. They might make stuff for the prison. It depends if it's public or private prison.
They have a seamstress on
They have a tailor
payroll?
shop.
I don't understand.
The guys will come work in the tailor shop.
You need your jumpsuit monogram, things like that.
Like special things that you want to done. Tailored.
Hers.
I put suede patches on the sleeves. It makes me look more informed and distinguished.
I got French cuffs, but that's so last season.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
I'm hoping that they make smocks for potters or something and sell them at $4 a pop and try to get some of the taxpayer money back? I don't.
Yeah, it's unlikely.
It's unlikely. I don't know, but she served her time.
Well, the sentencing's in August. She could get up to 7 years.
7. Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah. And remember, she had a panic attack and said she had heart problems the night before, so she could skip what she was supposed to do, which was pick them up at the prison and drive them out of town.
But she helped them escape.
Yes, but she didn't finish the job, which was driving them away to Mexico.
But she helped them tunnel. She
brought them like equipment or something, right?
She did in raw meat.
Okay. Lion meat.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the society that we're living in. There are two guys who killed people. Yeah. One guy killed his boss and dismantled him.
Disemboweled him.
Yeah, cut him up into pieces. Now, here's a chick who's supposed to be working for us, getting taxpayer money, helping the two people that slaughtered people be free with us. And obviously agitated as they run from the law and possibly to you and your family's cabin when you're vacationing so they can kill you and your kids and fend off the cops. As a society, we're much more upset over the guy that shoots the lion than her.
These guys are folk heroes.
One was
the guys are folk heroes, and she is neither here nor there. Right. She's a joke because she blew the guy
she's a joke.
before she brought him the hacksaw. Our outrage is over the tax-paying dentist who raises his family and shoots the lions.
We're bloodthirsty.
That's outrage. Outrage. We want his head on a stick.
We have bloodlust for that guy.
That, to me, as an atheist, makes us stupid. I will not engage in the dance of the stupid. I'm not going to retard square dance with everybody just because everyone is going, get on the hayride. We're going to the retard square dance. I go, I'm not going. And they go, but why? All the retards are dancing. And I go, not for me. Not for me.
But we do it every month. Come on, it's retard dance night.
Yeah, but you pick a new subject every night. And I go, no, I don't care. I will never be so fucking dumb that I will be more upset at the guy who shoots the lion than the chick who breaks out the people who kill human beings and dismantle their body. That's
Can't we
me.
be equally upset?
No.
Why?
Because you're still stupid.
It's not possible.
But why? Why can't I hate
dumb.
them all, but in different ways?
Okay, as long as but I didn't see a lot of negative tweeting going on with her.
You got to break it off proportionally.
Oh, that I can't control. But I can tell
did you send a tweet out about her?
I didn't even know her name until yesterday.
You didn't send a tweet, did you?
No, I didn't.
But you sent a tweet about the line.
I did.
All right, that's not even.
Damn it! I'm sending a tweet in a second.
Have fun on the hayride.
I like hayrides. It's going to work out great.
Well, that's our society, and I've chosen not to join that section of society because I find it not only retarded, but it does nothing to help me. My outrage at either her or him does not put any more money in my bank account.
But she's going to go to prison, and we'll pay for that, too.
I know.
It's just
but
never
again,
ending.
She's been so shamed.
She really has.
And that guy, I mean, he was cuckolded like nobody.
Lyle.
But good.
But good.
I mean, Lyle, you're a free man now.
Yeah.
Go out there and check out the market. See what's out there.
Yeah. All right.
At least 7 years.
Let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Would you be
Right.
okay having a ghost penis?
That was the news with Gina Grad.